Hey, shalom, shalom, hayawam to wab, which is good day, a knocking at waha a bar. Yasha Allah, hawalakin la adam, call shabawai, baharacha, wakak shaw, Yahweh bahasham, Yahweh shah, ma'amath, which is truly hey with the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh bahasham, Yahweh shah to preach to you so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Nacham, Atam, Kaya, Hamalak, Wata Shabayim, Korah, repent ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, I'm going to say, call Halayim La. Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham Rakha Kodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught this truth and rule well and much respect to you bros out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom, how you want to walk. Lord's willing, this is an edifying lesson. And essentially, we're going into the tribe of Benjamin. Mata Shaw Banyamyan, the tribe of Benjamin. Hamata Shaw Banyamyan. We'll start at Genesis chapter 35 and verse 18.
This is Genesis chapter 35 and verse 18, and it reads, "And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoi, uh, Benoni, for his father called him Benjamin."
Which I believe that goes into Ban Awanya. You can click into that verse, Baba Kushah. It says, you don't gotta click on the word. It says, you scroll back up a little bit. It says, yeah, Ban Awanya, which Awan goes into strength, son of my strength. So you scroll down and click on to Ban Yamyan, Baba Kushah. All right, it's a compound word. All right, and it says Ban and Yamyan, Baba Kushah. Could you click on Ban, which Ban Yamyan goes into son of the right. You got Ban, which means Bayath, and a seed. House continues because with a son, you start right there. It's with a son, you know, that he pretty much carries on the lineage, you know, and then you can put Ban inside of a house because pretty much a son is going to build as well, you know, because he builds your lineage. But it says son, grandson, child, member of a group. All right. So again, his name goes into son of the right, but then it also goes into a member of a group. Could you go back to Yamyan? All right, and it says Yamyan from Hasharash the bar, the root word Yaman. All right, and you can scroll down a little bit. It says right hand, right side, right hand, right up direction, south. You know, because if you facing the east, your hand will be on the south. That's why you know, if you was to go into the Middle East, so-called Middle East, your right hand will be facing what they call Yemen, which that's actually going into Yaman, which means the south or the right side. You scroll down a little bit. It says the right hand or side. So it says right hand or side of a person or other object as the stronger and more dexterous, locally the south, left-handed, right hand side, south. All right, pretty much is going to the right hand or was south. And it says stronger and more dexterous because a lot of times when you go into like 90% of the world is like right-handed, you know. But what's ironic about the tribe of Benjamin, it was a lot of left-handed Benjaminites or Benjamites a lot. I'm gonna get this real fast. Or could you pull it up, Yeshaya?
The Southpaw?
No, it's a scripture. That is. All right, could you get Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 2? Because again, his name goes into son of the right, but then when you put son, it's a member of a group, and then son of the right or the right hand side, it will be a member of a group on the right hand side, and that's reiterated because a lot of times in the ancient world they would say, okay, well, if you was left-handed, that means something was wrong with you, you know, because if you was to face the east, your left hand side would be the north, and when you go into that word north, that's what get out of Maratazah, Lord's willing. You know, the left goes into what's hidden, what's dark, what's lurking. You know, so it's pretty much being reiterated in the spirit that pretty much Banyamyan, he's the son of the right. You know, he's one of the 12 tribes. So it says, a man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's heart is at his left because a fool's going to rely on that pretty much on folly, on wickedness. You know, we can go back to let's get Judges chapter 3 and verse. Actually, no. We can go to the article, the first one.
This one? medium.
Yep.
Con. It says the left hand, ancient beliefs and modern understanding.
Which it pretty much gives a general synopsis. Eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Con. Want me to start at the top?
You scroll down a little bit where it says Salak, go back up. It says, of course. You start, of course.
Con. So it says, of course, we knew most of these men were barely literate and still held on to pre-modern thinking in a modern age. So you could imagine my shock when I hastily offered some money to a fellow corper during my NYSC, and it was in my left hand, with my
Uh-huh.
left hand. It says she bored into me with disdainful eyes as if my hand had turned green. No, I won't take it. Give it to me with your right hand. And I said something like, you mean you don't take anything offered to you with the left hand? Yes, she replied, with the
Right.
white.
So pretty much going into that, even if you go into like the Middle East, they should have a saying, pretty much, Ishmael over there, they shake with their right hand and they wipe with their left. Even over here in America, in Babylon, they say, hey, give me a handshake with your right hand, because that's the more strong, the more dexterous hand. When our forefather Jacob blessed Manashah, while Aparayam, Ephraim and Manasseh, the so-called Cubans and the so-called Puerto Ricans, Joseph tried to put the older Manashah in his right hand because that essentially shows your more strong, dexterous side. Can we get could you go
Hey,
to the other
Yeshaya,
article?
Baba Kushah, can you start up in that article? Start up where it says in ancient pagan philosophy, because it's
Mm-hmm.
touching in the way your mom was going into.
Count the water, bro.
Uh, Ancient pagan philosophy. Salaki, I don't see that.
It says, I'll read it. 'Cause it should be scroll up some. It's like right before. Go down, go down. It's right after he pretty much tells his story on the bus. You can keep going.
Oh,
I think nine. It says nonsense, and then that's when it pretty much starts the. Yeah, you can scroll down some more. Yeah, right there. That second paragraph right there, or the section.
Con. It says, in ancient pagan philosophy, the right hand was believed to be sacred to the solar male deity, while the left hand was associated with the lunar female deity. Therefore, the left hand would generally symbolize female, while the right hand would symbolize male.
right was a lot of pagan beliefs. They take and they remix it and try to throw in what they want to throw in, from the scriptures. But ultimately, we understand that these things come from the right hand side. Could we get the other article, Baba Kushah?
Okay. It's a little bit more in there that we could go
Oh,
into as well.
yeah, Con, yeah.
Yeah,
You go back to it now.
we just read through it and then we can go into it.
Continuing on, it says, given that women were often perceived as a source of evil and ill luck, all kinds of negative notions were also attached to the use of the left hand in primitive societies. It says it was regarded a curse or bad luck to pass a drink to someone or give a toast with your left hand, or even to place your left foot first on the floor when getting out of bed. It says the ancient Egyptians were so anti left that they often portrayed their enemies as
Mm.
left handed, while depicting themselves as righteous dextrose. Such narrative sleight of hand is a testament to Egyptian art history. It says in several cultures it was regarded as a sign of bad luck or a jinx to feel an itch on your left palm, experience some ringing on your left ear, have a twitch in your left eye, or dig up a lump of coal from underneath your left foot.
Mm-hmm.
It says, of course, the devil was associated with the left hand. This is why Satanism is also called the left hand path.
Mm-hmm. In which, like, even though the military, still go off, but they they don't even salute with their left hand. They salute with their right hand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
'Cause that goes back to your right hand is the more dexterous, the more strong side.
Right.
Which they pretty much get that from the scriptures. You know,
Okay.
Con,
That's pretty much it.
Could you switch to the other article, Baba Shah?
this one,
Yep.
it says, this is from Biblical Archaeology Society. It says, left handed people in the Bible. The Hebrew Bible mentions left handed people on three occasions. The story of Ehud's assassination of the Moabite king, Judges 3, 12 to 30. It says the 700 Benjamites who could use a sling with deadly accuracy, Judges
Mm-hmm.
20 and 16.
Which we'll get those. I don't want to Zah.
Con. It says in the 2 dozen ambidextrous women, Shalakia, warriors who came to support David in Hebron, First Chronicles 12 and 2. All of these stories of left-handed people in the Bible appear in military contexts, and curiously, all involve members of the tribe of Benjamin.
Mm-hmm. You had a lot of Benjamites that was left-handed. And we'll get the stories of those, Lord's will. So we go ahead and get that. We can go to actually no. Let's get that article on the Southpaws, Baba Shah.
Con. This is from leftiesrock.com. It says, "Why are Southpaw so hard to fight?"
Because like when you in terms of boxing or any type of fighting sport, a lot of people, being that everybody is like pretty much orthodox or right hand dominant, it's different fighting somebody that can switch or somebody that's a southpaw because they got their left hand in the back, so their right hand will be in the front. So that meaning that their power hand is in the left and the back, and it's a different type of look. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror and you'll be in reverse. So pretty much it causes your mind. You got to use the other side of your brain in order
Mm,
to combat that.
Con. It says the majority of fighters are orthodox, meaning
Mm-hmm.
there's not a whole lot of training experience against quality and natural Southpaw fighters.
Because essentially, when you learn how to fight, you're fighting against another orthodox fighter. So that's why a lot of times when you see a professional fighter, they bring in somebody that's a southpaw in order to get a different look. That's why guys like the big names, the southpaws, they pretty much super good. And that's essentially a reason I want to bring out this article is because this can be applied to Benjamin and their fighting style in the ancient world. You know, we can read a
Hmm.
little bit more in that article, then we'll get some scriptures.
Con. Continuing on, it says another reason is that it changes the dynamic of the striking game and
Uh huh.
how you set up your offense.
Right.
It says jabs don't have an easy path to the opponent's face. Rather, they collide.
Right, because you got to play that constant foot game. You got to battle to the outside.
Hmm.
So it's a lot different. Whereas like if you was fighting against an orthodox fighter, you can go to your right, but if you was going against a southpaw, you got to watch going to the right. Because
Hmm.
that's going to be their power side, because that's where the left hand is. So you pretty much got to play that constant foot game because it's a lot more different. It gives you a different look, and it's very unorthodox. That's why when you go to that's why when you think about the left hand side, it's very tricky, deceptive. That's why that article said that it went back to Satanism. You know, not saying that
Hmm.
to be left handed is Satanism, but that's what essentially what they thought of it as in the ancient world. You know,
Okay. Because even
that's,
you go into that word unorthodox, it talks about breaking traditional, like whatever traditional convention is, whatever the
mm-hmm,
normal thing was, right?
right,
So, like you said, going to the left is leaning away from what people are used to seeing.
right.
Hmm.
So with that understanding, let's get Judges chapter 3 and verse 15, Baba Kushal.
Con, this is the book of Judges, chapter 3, and verse 16. It says, but Ehud made him a dagger which
Mm-hmm.
had two edges of a cubit length, and he did gird. it under his raiment upon his
Uh,
right thigh.
15.
Salakia 15. Judges 3 and 15, it says, But when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, Yahweh raised them up a deliverer,
Mm-hmm.
Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed.
Why does it say left-handed? Because a lot of people wasn't left-handed back then. Left-handed, it gave you some type of advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Could we get Genesis chapter 49 verse 27 real fast, Papa Shah, before I forget?
This is Genesis 49 and 27, and it reads, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
Right, and when Benjamin Ravens as a wolf, that's why when you go into that music, before a wolf hunts, he pretty much howls. He got that beautiful melody, so they pretty real good with that music. It says, "In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall devour the spoil." You see, because um, in the times of the end, the Lord's gonna raise back up that Benjamite spirit, and what was that spirit? They were a tribe of all the tribes of warriors. You see, but they had a specific fighting style to where it was very unorthodox, which we're pretty much going into. We can go back to that Judges for brother didn't have none.
Going back, this is Judges 3 and 15. It says, But when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, Yahweh raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera,
Mm-hmm.
a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. It says, But Ehud made him a dagger which had two edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh.
Mm-hmm. So, like usually when you usually if you had a sword and you was right-handed, you'll draw it from your left side, but he drew it from his left side. I mean, it's like his right side.
Because, like you said, it gives them an advantage. Because
Mm-hmm.
traditionally, your sword and shield hands would go directly to whatever your opponent's sword and shield hands was, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you being left-handed, your sword hand is now facing his sword hand.
And
So it gives you that advantage.
and what's fitting about that as well is being that they was left-handed, that they already used to fighting people that's right-handed, so they was already accustomed to that. Whereas the people that they came up against, they wasn't used to that, so that's what gave them an advantage.
Exactly.
Want me
You
to
keep
continue
going.
on?
Yeah, we can go down to verse 22.
This is Judges 3 and 16. It says, But Ehud made him a dagger. Oh, I read that. 17, it says, And he brought the presents unto Eglon, king of Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And Eglon was a very fat man.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bare the present. But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto the king, unto thee, O king, who said, Keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him.
Mm-hmm.
And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from the Most High unto thee. And he arose out of his seat, and Ehud put forth his left hand, and took the dagger from his right hand, and thrust it into his belly.
Mm-hmm. Hit him with a quick jab shot. Bow. You know, grab the dagger from the right hand side and then hit him in the stomach. Because it would be fitting, you see, because he wouldn't expect somebody to do that. It caught him by surprise, and also he was left-handed.
Mm-hmm. On Judges 3 and 22, it says, and the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed up upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the point. It caught him by surprise, both because he caught him on surprise, and then also he was left-handed. Could we get
Mm-hmm.
Judges chapter 20 and verse 14? We'll go from 14 to 21, and then we get something else after that.
This is Judges chapter 20, verse 14. It says, "But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities of Gibeah to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people, there were 700 chosen men left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone could sling stones at a hair breadth and not miss."
Can we get that word for hair breadth? It says sha'ira. You scroll down. It says you keep going. It says a single hair. You see, so they got a term where he throwing dimes. You know, like he threw a bullet, or he threw a dime. Like if a quarterback throws a pass, he can hit it like what it pretty much got a saying that pretty much aim small, miss small. So they saying like pretty much a single hair. That's how much accuracy that they had. You
Hmm.
know, to where like they would if they wanted to hit you probably like in your nose, they might miss by this much. You know, a single hair. That's how much accuracy they had with the left hand.
Con. Want me to continue reading?
Come on, we go down to verse 21.
Judges 20 and 17, it says, "And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel arose
Going
and
back
went."
to how Banyamyan Benjamin was a warrior tribe. You know.
Mhm. Con. Verse 18, it says, and the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of the Most High and asked counsel of the Most High and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And Yahweh said, Judah shall go up first. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the children of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 20,000 men.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much just going into how they was that warrior tribe. You know, because they was very unorthodox. You know.
Mm-hmm. Continuing on, verse 22, it says, and the men of Israel encouraged themselves and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first. And the children of Israel went up and wept before Yahweh until even, and asked counsel of Yahweh, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And Yahweh said, go up against them. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. It says, and Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Then the children of Israel and all the people went up and came into the house of the Most High and wept and sat there before Yahweh and fasted that day until even and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings unto Yahweh. It says, and the children of Israel inquired of Yahweh, for the ark of the covenant of the Most High was there in those days. And uh, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And Yahweh said, go up, for tomorrow I deliver them into thine hand. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. The children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah as at other times.
Which, if I can mention, when it says put themselves in array, pretty much to get into formation to prepare for battle.
Mm-hmm. Verse 31, it says, and the children of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people and kill, as at other times, in the highways of the width of which one goeth up to the house of the Most High, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, They are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee and draw them from the city unto the highways.
That was pretty much the point, though. I don't have to read down. I pretty much just wanted to get the gist of that. They pretty much was a warrior tribe, left hand predominant, because that was a part of their unorthodox style, you know.
Hmm.
We can get Joshua, Yahweh Shah, chapter 18 and verse 11 and 12. Pretty much is going into where they dwelt at.
This is Joshua chapter 18 and chapter 11, and it says, And the lot of the tribe of the children of Benjamin came up according to their families,
Hmm.
and the coast of their lot came forth between the children of Judah and the children of Joseph.
Right. So, Judah, southern kingdom, and Joseph was northern kingdom. Salah was the northern kingdom. So they pretty much split the two. Salah. Can you run that back?
Con. This is Joshua 18 and verse 11. It says, And the lot of the tribe of the children of Benjamin came up according to their families, and the coast of their lot came forth between the children of Judah and the children of Joseph.
Right. So they was in the southern kingdom, and this is the southern kingdom, and that's pretty much in the north of the southern kingdom. So they got the north side of the southern kingdom, as it's going to say. Can you go to verse 12, Akusha?
Con. Verse 12, it reads, And their border on the north side was from Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and the border went up on the side of Jericho on the north side,
Mm-hmm.
and went up through the mountains westward, and the goings out thereof were at the wilderness of Bethaven.
Khan, Bayat Awan, um, House of Strength, I believe. Can you click on that to see what that say?
Con.
Yeah, I think you passed. Did you pass? No, it's right there. It says, yeah, Bayat Awan, yeah, House of Strength. Could you go back?
Con.
Hey, if I may say too, just real quick, the scriptures talk about how the Lord would hold and protect Benjamin, right? And
Mm-hmm.
him being that little brother, the last brother, is spiritual. That his uh, the land that they encompassed is surrounded by everybody else, like all the other tribes
Khan,
surround Benjamin.
Hmm.
yeah, we gonna get that. Hold that. Can you hold that point, bro?
Okay.
Could you click into where it says north? Because this ties into because they lived in the north, and then if you was to face the east, that your north would be your left hand side. So it says Taza Pawan. You can scroll down, Baba Shah. It says north of direction, northward, north. Scroll down a little bit. It says hidden, used only of the north as a quarter, gloomy, unknown. You scroll down. Yes, lexicon, the Strong's. So it says hidden, obscure. It says the ancients regarded north as obscure and dark. You see, so they lived in the north and it was dark. You see, so when you think about that, you think about, oh, they was left-handed. It's like, okay, well, you know, you're not sure, because it will be unknown just to somebody without understanding, you know.
Hmm.
So that's why it's reiterated in the spirit, son of the right, because they're still part of the 12 tribes, son of the right.
Mm.
He fights unorthodox and he lives in the north, but he's still the 12 tribes. He has that special relationship, like the brother Quanawaf went into. So could we get the Baryam Deuteronomy chapter 33? I believe it's verse like 17.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 33 and
It might be
12.
12. Okay, yeah.
verse 12. It says, And of Benjamin he said, The beloved of Yahweh shall dwell in safety by him,
Mm-hmm.
and Yahweh shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders.
You break down, bro.
God. So just like we've been mentioning of, man. The Lord, has been protecting Benjamin, man. Right? He protected him uh, because you always protect the little brother,
Mm-hmm.
in whatever
Mhm.
circumstance. The
Yeah.
account that we were reading in Judges, right? They didn't want to completely do away with the the seed line of Benjamin. So
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, after those wars between the tribes, they allowed them to rebuild themselves, man.
Mm-hmm.
So but they, like it said, they wouldn't allow the men of Benjamin any of the other Israelite women, so they had to go get them women of another nation. But in doing so, right, they're protecting that little brother. And in the
Right.
NLT, it has here, it says, Moses said about the tribe of Benjamin, the people of Benjamin are loved by the Lord and live in safety beside him. He surrounds them continuously and
Mm.
preserves them from every harm, right? So just looking at that map, right, that the tribe of Benjamin is surrounded on every side by his older brothers, man.
Yep. Con. Yeah, that was pretty much all I had. We can go into what
Okay,
bros had.
okay. So that was pretty much it. Let me see. Let's see if I got something else.
I wanted to go into I go into the word Yamyan. Oh no, it's all
No.
good. I don't gotta go
Oh,
into it.
okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty
What else
much
we
it.
have? Salakia.
You guys, Shy.
I still got this article. This one right here.
Oh yeah, you go to Y. Yeah, you scroll back up. Scroll back up. It's the one that looks like a. You see the La on the left hand side. You got the Ka, then you got the Ya, the third from the left at the top. The third from the left.
This one right here.
No, the
Oh, Salakia.
yeah, yeah. Scroll down some. Oh, slot. No, it'll be in Ma. Go to Ma. Scroll back up. It'll be all the bottom right. The bottom right, right there. Yep. You scroll down. Keep going. You go a little bit faster. All right, slow down a little bit. You keep going. Should be the next subsection right there, right there. So right here, it says, "Man." It says, "When a seed is watered, the plant comes out from growing tall and firm." The pictograph "ma" is a picture of water. "Na" is a picture of a seed. Combined, these mean water and seed, which pretty much water the seed. You scroll down. Right there. It says the right hand as the strong hand, the Hebrews oriented direction according to the rising sun. Therefore, the south is to the right, and it's essentially where Benjamin Banyamyan gets his name. You see, because when you got Man, you water the seed, but what do you work with? You work with your right hand because, like they said in the blue letter, your right hand is the stronger, more dexterous side. You see, so Yaman Yamyan, it comes from Yaman Sharash Dabar, the root word. All right, it comes from Yaman because that's essentially, the right hand side, you know.
That's right.
And again, going into how his name is Son of the Right because he is one of the 12 tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's pretty much it. You want to get that article?
Con. Let's see. I want to touch on a little bit of the history of Jamaica. This is from embassyofjamaica.org. It says the history of Jamaica over the past 500 years has been marked by the courage of the Jamaican people in their triumphant struggle for freedom and justice by their unrelenting resistance and determination in the face of adversity and discrimination. Modern Jamaica is built on a historical legacy of genocide per- perpetrated against the island's indigenous peoples, um, on the experience of over 300 years of slavery and oppression suffered by the Jamaicans of African origin, and on the interplay between Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Middle East in the building of a proud, free, and progressive nation in the heart of the Caribbean.
If I could add too, we didn't go into it, but Banyamyan or Banyamyan, yeah, Benjamites is so-called West Indians. All right, in Jamaica, you got Jamaica, uh, the Virgin Islands, I believe. Just pretty much the West Indies, the so-called Caribbean.
Hmm. And also right here it lists a lot of the people that took part, in our enslavement. You know,
Mm-hmm.
showing you, all these nations, they know who we are. They know, and they all took part in us being put in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Because even right now, I believe in Jamaica, you have a lot of uh, Asians, so-called Asians, Chinese, Moabites.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
you got a lot of
continuing on.
Moab. You got a lot of so-called Irish.
Hmm.
But that's why the dialect is the way it is because it's a mixture of so many different cultures down there.
That's right. It says first Jamaicans. It says the first Jamaicans were the Taino Indians who settled on Jamaica around 600 AD. They were Stone Age peoples who had migrated to Jamaica from the north coast of South America. After living continuously in Jamaica for almost 900 years, the Taínos were wiped out within 50 years of the Spanish conquest in 1494. Now, Esau likes to use that word Stone Age, but really, Jake was civilized, man. Jake had their
Mm-hmm.
own trade routes. Jake had, their own, schooling. Everything was more oral, but the Esau likes to use the word Stone Age because it didn't have like the technology that they had. Pretty much weaponry. You have different accounts where it goes into that. You know, like me and the brother Yawan went into Taino, pretty much Tawab. What is it? Tawab Aim?
Yeah,
Yaim?
Tawab Ain, which means Taino, good people.
Right, good people, man. They were good people. There were several accounts that they would hand them the Spaniards. They would hand them some food, and that one Taino was split up amongst his brothers. Or they would see the weapons, the swords that they had, and they would grab it by the tip, pretty much by the sharp end, right,
Uh-huh.
and cut themselves, just showing you that they didn't know war, right? They were
Right,
all about peace. But Esau likes to use that and say they were Stone Age people,
right. They try to use it like a demeaning term, right, to mean they're uncivilized and things of that nature.
right?
But it's like they had more of a civilized nature than Esau does, man. Right? Just
Right.
because, like you said, they didn't have the technology, but their actual communities, were more peaceful, and their economies, were more prosperous, man.
That's right. Calling our people savages. Calling our people Indians. Is Indian alone is a demeaning term. I believe that goes back to servant.
Hmm.
But continuing on a little bit more in this, it says, after living continuously in Jamaica for almost 900 years, the Taínos were wiped out within 50 years of the Spanish conquest in 1494. So Esau, after so much slavery and so much killing, they wiped out the entire population of the Taínos in Jamaica, right? Which ended up making way for the Spaniards and pretty much Esau in general to start shipping in uh, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi from the western parts of Africa, which is going to go into right now. It says, due to exploitation by the Spanish settlers, starvation, and the lack of resistance to European diseases, many Taínos fiercely resisted the Spanish occupation on their land, and some even committed suicide rather than serve as slaves. So that just goes back to the spirit that Jake had at that time. They'd rather like what's his name? That one Issacharite Jake. He said it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. You know, they understood the well at this point. A lot of the Tainos they understood. They heard rumors. They heard stories of Esau, and their cruelty. So to them it was like it's better to die than to continue living this hell. Continuing on, it says the Arawak language spoken by the Taino survives in many words such as hammock, hurricane, which hurricane goes back to huracan, right? Which is the Taino word for hurricane, which now is Spanish. But it says tobacco, barbecue, and canoe. The word Jamaica actually derives from the word Arawak word uh, haimaka.
Which I believe, which Lord's will, we do a lesson on it, but I believe the JAM part goes into Yam, which means sea, because it says land of wood and water. Water
Mhm,
would be sea, you know. But like
mhm.
I said, got to get more clarification on that, you know. But pretty much, our walk, they were they spoke a derivative of Hebrew, broken Hebrew, because they was Tainos.
That's right. Gone. It says Christopher Columbus was the first European to set foot on the island when he claimed it for Spain on May 3rd, 1494. During his second voyage to the New World, Jamaica was settled by the Spanish in 1510, and the indigenous Taino people were forced into slavery and eventually exterminated. In the early years of the 16th century, the practice of importing slaves from West Africa to work in Jamaica began. So it says Jamaica's first town was built by the Spanish in St. Anne's Bay and was called Sevilla Nueva. In 1538, the Spanish moved the capital of Jamaica to Spanish Town. Jamaica was, however, never heavily populated by the Spanish, for they found no gold on the island. Uh, so that right there, gives a reason why the Taino population was exterminated. I'm pretty sure Esau probably got mad and just started slaying a bunch of Tainos because they
Uh,
pretty much serve no purpose. But it says, for they found no gold on the island. Instead, plantations were established to supply food for the Spanish ships that sailed between Europe and the Americas. Spain remained in control of Jamaica for more than 150 years, and the legacy of this period can still be seen in the historic buildings of Spanish Town and in the many Spanish names assigned to Jamaican rivers, mountains, and towns. So that's pretty much it. It goes into a lot more history, like the pirates, uh, the Maroons.
uh,
You know, I just want to read a little bit of this right here. It says Africa, the in the Caribbean, and the resistance to slavery. It says the importation of American slave labor begun by the Spanish continued under the British with much greater intensity and grew steadily in volume as sugar production increased in extent and value. Most Jamaican slaves came from the region of modern-day Ghana, Nigeria, and Central Africa, which is all Jake. It
uh,
says and included the Akan, Ashanti, Yoruba, Igbo, Ibibo peoples by the 18th century. Again, all Jake.
which Igbo goes back to Hebrew, Ibar. All right, and then
Hmm.
Yoruba as well. That goes back to Ibar as well.
Mm,
They're showing
Khan.
you that they're part of the 12 tribes. Because I believe a brother can correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much you had Southern Kingdom going to the interiors of Africa. So a lot of you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that went to the interiors of Africa.
Yeah.
Khan. That's right. Just showing you, man. We're the only people that went through this. You know,
Right.
Southern and Northern Kingdom. We're the ones that went through that slave labor, that mass genocide from the hands of Esau, Edom, and the rest of the other nations.
Con,
Okay.
You just touching more on the article?
I just want to finish this paragraph out and I'll be done.
Con.
It says, by the 18th century, Jamaica had become one of the most valuable British colonies, but the conditions endured by the slaves were horrendous. Right, pretty much. Hey, they were being worked to death. You know, that several articles that I had, historical articles that I had as well, that go into how they were working to death. You know, just like as Levi was worked to death. You know, even Benjamin was worked to death to the point where
Right.
they had to continue shipping and shipping more slaves in. But it says families were routinely separated. Housing and sanitary conditions were abysmal. Beatings and torture were rampant. Many died from overwork and starvation. Life expectancy of the West African slave in Jamaica was 7 years. Hear that? 7 years, man. So that's how much time y'all had before, or
Damn.
before they were pretty much replaced by new Jake coming in on them boats.
Right. Because you got to think that's the first stop, right, from the triangle trade. You know, they
Hmm.
drop off the strongest, of Jake over there, and then they go through hell up there, man. And like I said, it was the most profitable because of all the sugar cane, because sugar was a hot commodity during that time. So
Mm-hmm.
they drop the slaves off, get the sugar cane, put it on the boats, and then
Hmm.
continue up to America, man. And that's why you get the Willie Lynch letter and things of that nature, man, because it was the worst conditions up to that point, man. And then those same practices made their way, up into North America, man.
Con, con. I want to get a quick precept. Romans 8 and verse 18. Going back to the point, uh, it's like at 16. It says, "The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High." So pretty much everything that we've gone over, you know, shows that we are the children of the Most High. Only only our people went through the sufferings, right? The judgments, for our transgressions, right? And everything that's written in the scriptures, came to pass. Like
Mm-hmm.
the scripture says, I believe it's in Romans chapter 9, if I'm not mistaken, how we prophesied. Hold on, or it might be Revelation. Uh, Salakia. It might be Revelation. Con. Going into right here, Revelation. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth," going into northern kingdom and southern kingdom. It says, "And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed." Right, going into the prophets, how they will show forth that spiritual power, right? And the same is going to be in these times that we're coming into. A standard is going to be lifted to where the men of the Lord are going to have that spiritual power. Verse 6, it says, "These have power to shut heaven." Going into uh was it Elisha or Elijah, right? They stopped it from raining. It says that it rained not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters and turn them into blood, and smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, going into all the suffering, right? That's part of our testimony, right? That's part of prophecy for us to fall away from our heritage and suffer the judgment you know associated with our transgressions and our I guess neglect to the Most High, right? But it says the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. But that was pretty much the point.
Con,
Unless
can we
brothers
get
had anything else.
Con, can we get Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8, and then close with Genesis 49 and 27 again.
Con. This is Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8, and says, "For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye."
That's applies to all the tribes, but Benjamin, using this for Benjamin right now, he has a special relationship with the Lord, you see. So going back to Genesis chapter 49 and verse 27, when when the Lord puts that spiritual power back in the earth, and puts his devil into subjection.
Mm-hmm. This is Salakia. Genesis 49:27. It says, "Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil."
At night he shall divide the spoil, pretty much when this man kingdom goes down,
Mm-hmm.
because what they did to us, we're gonna do to them in righteousness, and that's why we see this man's kingdom being destroyed, and then ultimately he's gonna serve his 1,000 years of slavery and then be wiped out. That's pretty much all I had, bros. I have nothing else.
Con, I want to touch on that word raven real quick. I know I went into this word right here in the blue letter, but it doesn't really show what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up on Google. Just rave, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says to talk wildly or incoherently. It says as if one were delirious or insane. It says speak or write about something or something with great enthusiasm or admiration.
Mm-hmm.
It says an extremely enthusiastic recommendation or appraisal, a lively party or gathering involving dancing and drinking. So Jake is very pretty much all Jake is very heavy into partying and everything. But pretty much the point I wanted to get here is how with their music, as the same thing as a wolf, they would talk about the fall of Babylon. They would talk about them being Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
They would also but pretty much associating it with a wolf. A wolf, they howl, right? They howl before they go out for a hunt, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what's happening now. A Benjamin is out here, howling with through their music, and eventually, that hunt is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to your point.
Con, you had anything, Quanawa?
La.
Conway, I don't want to Zaza, but now your Palos wood. That was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wa I don't want to Zaza, Adam Yashi Wam to Wab, a Lord's will. You all have a good day. A call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Hakodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing his truth with all righteousness. And sit, Shalom, Shalom. Wa Yahweh Mahar, La Bachayarim, Godspeed to the elect. Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.